Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, there's something that has been shared on Professor Lumumba social media plugin. The African Union reacted to EU's move. Now, in this article, it says, the African Union has called on the European Union to respect the sovereignty of the United Republic of Tanzania, following recent discussions surrounding the country's general elections. In a statement, the AU reaffirmed its observation that the Tanzania general elections were conducted in a free, fair, and transparent manner. The continental body emphasized that any arising concerns will be handled through its established mechanisms. The European Union is encouraged to respect Tanzania's independent institutions. That is what the AU noted. Now, let's look at what is being said here. The EU should respect the United Republic of Tanzania, respect the sovereignty of Tanzania. So let's look at this warning from AU. Do you think, based on this statement, the AU is justified to deliver such a statement to the EU, to warning EU not to meddle in Tanzania affairs? Now, I want us to look at EU and AU, because there is a debate right now that why is AU silent on this matter of Tanzania? Why let the European counterpart be the one talking about the situation in Tanzania? The body that is supposed to deal with the situation in Tanzania is AU, but why is AU silent? This has been the center of debate, ladies and gentlemen, across Africa.
After elections, but a national strategy. On 29th of October, President Samia SULUHU Hassan crowned herself with a victory of 97% of the votes after silencing the very people who challenged her. And when citizens rose up, especially the young, they were met with bullets, brutality, and a blockade on truth. Hundreds arrested, entire country living in fear.
Is AU a toothless dog? You know, let's just be honest. Is AU a toothless dog? Now, this leads me to the previous statements by Museveni. Museveni at one particular time branded AU as an organization of excellencies. That's why most of the time, issues of AU, he normally prefers to send his ambassador. He's a foreign affairs minister to represent him. He sends delegations. He hardly attends these AU meetings. Why? Because according to Museveni, he talked about a toothless dog. That is the AU. Now, if AU is a toothless dog, then could that be the reason why AU is not quick to react to the Tanzania situation? It is not even putting sanctions on Tanzania, not even putting a lot of pressure on Tanzania to release Tundu Lissu. Is that the case? Because based on the EU criticized AU for being silent. Now, there is the SADC region where Tanzania is a member. There is the East African Community. Tanzania is a member. And Tanzania is also a member of the AU. So the big question is, why are all these bodies silent, whereas there is great danger, that is being subjected to the citizens of Tanzania? Why allow only the EU to be the person, to the body speaking or voicing their opposition on the situation in Tanzania? Now, this one is confirming Museveni's utterances about AU being a toothless liar. A toothless dog. If I may remember sometimes previously there, when campaigns were taking place, there was talk that it's important to put a chairperson of AUC, someone who can actually execute, agendas, someone who can impose certain sanctions on, countries that not conform. The only time AU normally acts is when there are coup d'etats in countries. Like, say, for example, when there was a coup in Gabon, AU quickly reacted and said they don't recognize Gabon, and Gabon is not going to be a member of AU until the issue is addressed. When there was a similar occurrence in other countries, Burkina Faso, the same thing was actually channeled. So even in the ECOWAS regions, whereby there are a lot of coups, again, AU quick to react and remove other people from that, other countries from that membership. So that is the only time it reacts. But what about when government force themselves into power through illegal means? Ain't that same as coups, because you're taking the presidency by force? The only difference is that with a coup's case, military is involved. But also in a case where a president takes power by force, there is always military involved, but the president retains power by force. It is just the same as coup. So then why not act on the case of Tanzania, whereby the whole world is shocked at what really took place there? So I think this has exposed AU further. And one thing you need to note is that the AUC chairperson, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, was one of those people who congratulated Tanzania, congratulated Samia Suluhu for retaining the presidency. They did. Now, the East African countries did that also. There are so many other countries which did, but there are countries which did not congratulate Samia Suluhu. So many other countries didn't, but East African countries did, SADC countries did, AU countries, some of them did. So that is why EU is thinking to itself that these people are not true Pan-Africanists. Why? Because they are not looking at the sisters and brothers who are suffering in Tanzania. They're only looking at securing deals by now congratulating the president whom they think, whom many people think was not duly elected. So just tell us below in the comment section what to think about this statement about African Union and the EU. Who should you praise, ladies and gentlemen? If you are someone who wants to give credit, would you give credit to the AU or to the EU? The European Union or the African Union? Which one? Just tell us below in the comment section. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.